How can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
At Nationwide Vision, we help you step into every moment clearly and confidently. From quality eyewear and comfortable contact lenses to comprehensive exams and professional fittings, we make finding your focus a more enjoyable experience than ever. Right now, buy one pair of glasses and get the second one free, so you can live bolder, look sharper, and see better. Schedule an appointment today to find your focus.
Every day, reliable, comfortable, connected. Every day you rely on power. At APS, we work around the clock to deliver some of the most reliable power in the country. But with Arizona's extreme weather, outages can happen. Stay safe and informed with alerts by keeping your contact information up to date. And visit our outage center for updates online or on the APS app. For more ways to stay safe and informed, visit aps.com/brighter.
Got hail damage or any damage? Dynasty Collision is here to help, and we're even covering part of your deductible. Thousands are skipping repairs because of cost, but you don't have to. Call Dynasty Collision today, 602-529-3304. That's 602-529-3304.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Welcome into the lunch break right here on this Friday, October 10th. Kayla Mortellaro filling in once again for Chris Schubert, who is off enjoying his honeymoon. We have Evan behind the glass, making sure that you can see and hear us on KDUS AM 1060's YouTube channel, as well as right here on KDUS AM 1060 and with the KDUS 1060 app. We have plenty to get into on a Friday, setting the scene for the football weekend. Big quarterback news, both directions here locally for the ASU Sun Devils as well as the Cardinals. We'll have Brad Brown from 6 News in Indianapolis giving us some insights in on the Indianapolis Colts around 11:15, 11:20 today. Buy or sell at 11:45. Then Kyle Soppe from Pro Football Network going to break down some NFL props and bets for us around 12:15. Our own bets of the weekend with your chance to win a Von Hansen's Meats and Spirits gift card around 12:30 or so today. And then the leftovers at 12:45. Obviously, yesterday had some ramifications to get things started in Week 6 in the NFL, as well as some playoff implications. The Eagles fall to the Giants in East Rutherford, 34-17. The Phillies are eliminated from postseason following a 2-1 loss in 11 innings, and the Cubs took it to the Brewers and never let up to win 6-0. But before we get into any of that, Evan, as a resident Philadelphia fan, yesterday was a big night for you, and I'm glad to see you here this morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, that's one of the more sad nights as a sports fan in my entire life. Just to have the Phillies lose in that way, right? Like, you not only lost the game, but you took it to 11, and it's the first time in Major League history that somebody has won a series off an error. And, hindsight's 2020. Ryan Kerkering kind of fumbles the ball there, but he still has time at first. He comes home with it. Dodgers end up winning the series. It's tough. Phillies scored more runs than the Dodgers this series. They had more hits. They stole more bases. All of those things are true. They struck out less than the Dodgers. They just couldn't get the big runs. And so they blew out the Dodgers in Game 3, and that's kind of the biggest discrepancy there. But, I mean, you couldn't get the big runs. And for the Phillies, it's an unearned run that ends up being the one that beats them. And it's the same story for the last few years where they have this team that is built off of great pitching but bad defense and 1 to 2 great players in the lineup that can't play 9 deep. And when you get to the bottom of the lineup, it just felt like, especially in this series, there were free outs. And maybe some mismanagement at times. It's hard to blame yesterday on Rob Thompson because they went to their best pitchers, right? Like, biggest situation of the game, they get the Dodgers out of a bases-loaded jam with only 1 run. Johan Duran comes in. He ends up walking home the run that ties the game, but for the most part gets out of it with only 1. And then you went to your best arms down the stretch. You got Strahm out of the 9th, and Luzardo gets the 10th in the 11th before Orion Kirkring comes in. I can't blame the manager for the decisions. So you had to be better at the top of the lineup. And the Phillies' first 3 were really bad, other than game 3. Were really bad for 3 games in this series. And then that happens. That's devastating and crushing. And then you turn your head, and you're like, okay, the Eagles are down to the Giants, but we're okay here. They'll come back, and it just got worse, right? The offense looked stagnant in the second half for another time. It feels like the same story there for the Eagles, where they have one great half and can't put it together in the second half, or play a really poor first half and then put it together in the second half. So those issues remain true once again. You lost to the Giants, and I've been on the record here telling everybody the Giants stink out loud. So, I mean, that kind of got thrown in my face. And then the last thing is, like, on all top of that, all of that, I get an alert that Sam Levitt's not playing this week. So the 3 teams I care about most, all with devastating news within an hour and a half of each other. It was a horrible, horrible evening.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're here, you're alive, and you're well. But yes, it does appear that Sam Levitt, he is officially listed as doubtful. Kenny Dillingham was on Down the Dial this morning talking about Levitt's injury, and that he called it a quote, minor miracle that will need to happen if, in fact, Sam Levitt will be playing in Saturday's contest. And we'll dive into ASU and Utah at the top of hour number 2. As it is for Thursday night football, though, with the Eagles losing 34-17 to the Giants, the game started with another one of those pet peeves of mine, a landing zone penalty, which allowed the Eagles to drive down. It did stall. The drive stalled. They settled for a field goal. And then the Giants' first possession on offense, to me, that typified what Jackson Dart does to bring this offense to life for the New York Giants. There was some kind of chaos, yet there was scrambles, which included a scramble for the 20-yard touchdown run. There was some big throws down the field that you're not getting at this point in time in from Russell Wilson. So to me, that just 100% typified why Jackson Dart is now the starter in New York, and 100% provides that energy and that lift, along with Cam Scatterbo, who had a breakout game for himself in an NFL uniform with the Giants, as he was able to wear down the Eagles defense. 19 carries, 98 yards, 3 touchdowns. I know no one is going to care about my fantasy football team, but I had injuries at the running back position and was forced into making some decisions. Cam Scatterbo goes into the lineup, and I was a little nervous now that Tyrone Tracy is back and maybe splitting some time. That's all right. Cam got me 31 points yesterday. So
I was getting texts left and right from people I've worked with at ASU, and Cam was a guy who just through working for ASU football, I got to know a little. He was one of the players that I would say I actually formed a more relationship with. And then to have him drop 3 touchdowns on the Eagles is go Cam. But dude, tonight of all nights, he did this to me tonight. But no, I was really, really happy for Cam Scatterbo. And you mentioned it with Jackson Dart. I think the one knock coming out of college for him was, what can he give you off platform? Can he get to his second and third read? That Lane Kiffin offense is so much RPO, one read, ball out quick. What could he do off script? He was great off script last night, 17-25 for the 195. Obviously, he has the touchdown. He doesn't turn the ball over, and he runs one in. I think there's been a lot of really good stuff on tape for Jackson Dart. It was a rough week last week, but he seems to learn, and he seems to kind of be a gamer, right? That's a bad way to describe it almost. But he's got this moxie to him, this swagger. And he's kind of always had that at USC, at Ole Miss, but it has transferred to the NFL. And I know we're 3 games in, but so far so good for the Giants rookie quarterback.
They could be 3-0 with him as a starter if it were not for all those turnovers that happened in that game. Also, what he was able to do, they did not have, obviously, Malik Neighbors, didn't have Darius Slayton, so he's throwing balls to Wan'Dale Robinson, who I know he's good in his little role, but he shouldn't be wide receiver number 1. He had 6 catches, 84 yards. Lil Jordan Humphrey, I kept thinking this was like a nickname, and then I found out it was actually his name.
No,
Lil
Jordan Humphreys, he was unbelievable at Texas. He was a jump ball guy at Texas. He was so fun to watch.
So he comes off the practice squad, 4 catches for 55 yards, and drew some important penalties as well. The Eagles, without Quinyon Mitchell in the secondary, as he suffered a hamstring injury, and the Eagles had to rely on Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson, and boy, they gave up those big plays, those big penalties. And I think that could be, I know there's so much made about the Eagles and the offense, but that could be a huge thing that they need to look into, as that secondary, giving up what they did to wide receivers that don't have the pedigree of a Neighbors and a Slayton. Saquon, though, he ripped off a couple of big ones early, but then after that, it was 12 carries for 58 yards and unable to get the ground game going. A combination of things there because they were behind, had to throw. But in general, the Eagles have always been so successful establishing the run and putting their dominance on the run game, and then that kind of does open up the passing game for them. But the Giants were able to just control at will what they wanted to. And Brian Burns, again, an incredible disruptor last night with 2 sacks, getting there in the backfield. Lane Johnson, for the Eagles offensive lineman, reacted to the loss after the game with a quote here that I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah, there's flashes, but flashes don't score points. It's about consistency. It's about once a big play hits, let's keep going until we finish. We have spurts, but nothing consistent enough. And so to make that point, they did have 2 touchdown drives of 70-plus yards or more in that first half of the game. They also had those back-to-back explosive runs, as I said, by Saquon, 18 yards and 13 yards. After that, limited for what Saquon was able to do. Johnson also had another interesting comment post-game. Quote, I feel like a lot of what we did last year was run, play, action, and it kind of fed off each other, and the defense had a real hard time guessing what it was going to be. I feel like the last 2 weeks, you know what it is. You know when the pass is coming. You know when the run is coming. It all starts with us collectively as an offense. So there's some predictability for the Eagles offense. They're not really doing the things that make them successful and how they can get into their rhythm. Also, maybe there's some adjustments being made by the opposing team because the Eagles have been outscored. Sorry, Evan. The Eagles have been outscored 51-17 in the second half of games over the last 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, that feels like what I honestly thought it would be worse. in all seriousness, would they have 8 total yards? They didn't complete a pass against the Bucs. So you have that game. You have last week in which they blow a game to the Broncos late, and then you have this week where you couldn't get anything going. You get outscored 14-0 in the second half. And again, it's the same old story, right? It's the same things that have been happening all year. And I said this yesterday. This offense needs a spark. And it's Thursday night football. So the Eagles have a mini bye here. I wouldn't be surprised if you hear some rumblings coming out of the Eagles locker room today of maybe a change in play caller, maybe a move at the offensive coordinator position. This is an organization that is pretty quick to make some of these moves. And I feel like after 2 straight losses, 1 to the Giants, they're going to make some moves.
So with that, though, does Nick Sirianni take control of this team? He is the head coach. He originally was supposed to be the offensive play caller and the head coach. We know that didn't quite work, and he decided he was better effective just being the head coach and letting someone else be the offensive play caller. But now we have seen it. There was really virtually just success with Shane Steichen and then Kellen Moore. other people that didn't have quite the pedigree, not the success. So does Nick Sirianni kind of take matters into his own hands of, I'm fighting kind of for my job, I'm fighting for the Eagles' future here, and does he take over being the play caller?
It's interesting because the question remains how much of it is actually Nick Sirianni's offense, right? Like how much of it changes if it is Nick as the play caller. A few years back when Nick had taken the job, they kind of came out of the gates trying to throw the ball in not his rookie year, but really his first year starting for Jalen. And pretty early, they decided to go to Shane Steichen, who then addressed the team and said, listen, we're going to be a run-first football team. And they did that. And they got to the playoffs being a run-first football team, despite some of the flaws that team had. And then they go out and trade for A.J. Brown. They make the big additions in the offseason. And they come out and are great running the football. But they can also throw the ball around the yard. And that's the year Jalen finishes second in MVP voting. That's the year they go to the Super Bowl and lose. Then Shane Steichen, rightfully so, gets a head coaching job. And you have kind of a move that people were, everybody thought would happen as they upgraded the quarterback coach to be the offensive coordinator, and things went really wrong with Brian Johnson. And then they moved on from him, brought in Kellen Moore. And then again, same thing. Was it more of Nick's offense? Because Kellen Moore's offense felt stagnant at times. The Eagles would get killed every week. I mean, they won a playoff game. They won a playoff game against the Packers, and all the media could talk about was, yeah, but they didn't throw it. They didn't throw the football to win the playoff game. And it was like, okay, but they won the football game. So there was always criticism of the Eagles offense. So how much of that is carryover from the head coach, Nick Sirianni? And that's the question, right? Like, is it going to be a philosophy that the Eagles can't change because it's from the head coach? Or is this a strictly Kevin Patullo problem?
It's interesting you talk about running the football. So I have previously been a defender of the tush push, that like it should not be a banned play because, figure out a way to stop the play. However, last night watching it be run 4 times in a row there between like the 1 and 2 yard line was just a little ridiculous. I was like, we're not watching rugby here in a scrum. We're watching a football game. So I was a little irritated with that. But when it comes to the Giants side of things here, well, first of all, the Eagles dropped to 4-2. They'll have their longer week of prep, obviously, for the Vikings. The Giants go to 2-4. They'll have a longer week of prep for the Broncos. I also think, too, that just kind of watching the energy, not only of the crowd and kind of the players, that they're going to have to figure out a way to move along from Russell Wilson, whether it be try to find a trade partner or just flat out release him, because one, the energy was just palatable, how different it is with him coming in a backup situation. Whereas I think Jameis Winston kind of maybe has a similar personality. He doesn't have maybe the moxie that Jackson Dart has possessed at this point in time. But I think that the team continuity there, being able to go if in a situation where Dart's injured, to go to Winston as opposed to going to Wilson. So they need to kind of move along from Wilson. The energy and enthusiasm just fell off of a cliff when he had to go into that game. And then, of course, he made a horrendous throw. That certainly didn't make anyone happy watching that game. But for a win for the Giants, I also did see that the NFL is going to be investigating the concussion protocols, as well as how the concussion protocols were implemented last night for Jackson Dart. So we'll see what comes out and what transpires from all of that. But the Arizona Cardinals, they are playing the Indianapolis Colts on Sunday night. We are going to pop on out to the hotline after the break and chat with Brad Brown of 6 News in Indianapolis to talk about those Colts and how they're getting it done with Danny Dimes in his first year in Indianapolis. It is the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Even if Troy Aikman pretty much said the NFL product sucked last night. He's not wrong. I thought this was supposed to be a brand new Jets. They're more dysfunctional and more undisciplined than ever. You know what would actually be brand new for the Jets? A new head coach starting 0-5. That has never happened, but it looks like there's a very good chance it's about to happen.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
One last match, one unforgettable night. The regular season finale is here as Phoenix Rising hosts San Antonio FC on Saturday, October 18th at 7 p.m. It's Fan Appreciation Night with special drink and food deals and end-of-season merchandise sales all night long. Celebrate the season, cheer on the squad, and send Rising into the playoffs in style. Tickets start at just $15. Log yours in now at phxrisingfc.com. Final match, full stadium. Let's rise together.
My Chemical Romance, The Black Parade 2026. Live at Chase Field, September 6th, 2026. With special guest, Jimmy Eat World. Get tickets now at livenation.com. For more, visit mychemicalromance.com.
If you could rewind 10 years, what would you do differently? Buy Apple stock at $20? Skip the Ghost Pepper Challenge? Maybe even rethink the skinny jeans. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Some regrets are harmless, termite damage isn't. You can't go back in time, but you can keep termites from eating your future. Call 602-BLUE-SKY today for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
We believe everyone deserves access to fresh food. That's why the Kroger Company created the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program to share fresh food with the people in our communities. Our program and foundations have donated 3 billion meals since 2017. That's nearly 10 meals for every person in the U.S. Together, we can do more for our neighbors. Just round up your purchase at checkout. Fries, fresh for everyone.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Pretty hilarious to see North Carolina have to make a public statement pledging their, quote, full support behind the alleged GOAT Bill Belichick after only 5 games. If by full support they mean they wish this dude would just shut it down and take his kids, girlfriend, and cronies with him, then sure, he has their, quote, full support. Who didn't see this coming? Of course it's a disaster. Pretty much everything has been for Belichick since he ran Tom Brady off and then was broken off by Bob Kraft. The alleged GOAT now leaves everything worse, not better, when he does bounce. And he will leave Carolina, just not as soon as they want him to. Listen, I don't want anyone to tell me how to spend my money, so I won't tell Carolina what to do with theirs. But you made a huge mistake in bringing this dude in. Just own it, give him his dough, and be done with it. The sooner you end this nightmare, the better. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get up to a $25 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select Superstart batteries. We'll test your old battery for free and recommend the right battery for your vehicle. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If you were on my football team and you don't carry the football through the goal line, I want you to keep running into the locker room. Take off your helmet because you're never wearing it on my football team again. The only thing I liked was at least the response from head coach Jonathan Gannon to either let him know or encourage him with fire, fury, and vengeance in his face.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
lunch break here on KDOS AM 1060. As always, follow along online at KDOS1060.com or with the KDOS 1060 app or on our YouTube stream, KDOS AM 1060. But we're popping on out to the hotline as we're joined by Brad Brown, 6 News in Indianapolis, to chat all things Indianapolis Colts. Brad, appreciate the time on the program. How are you today?
Hey, doing well. Good afternoon or good morning, good afternoon, where we're at on the time at this point. Happy Friday, I guess.
Absolutely. Appreciate it. So the Colts, though, they're 4-1, and that can't be a record that you thought this team would be at to start the season, right?
That is accurate. We really were unsure given the big question marks surrounding the quarterback situation, in particular Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson at the start of the season. And then just looking at the defense with this team, they got a lot of guys, but had to figure out how to put it all together. And that combination of Jones on the offense, Lou Anarumo on this defense, it's added up to not only just being 4-1, they've been fun to watch. They've been fun to follow, and they really got a lot of buzz going in this city right now.
So Daniel Jones, the efficiency, the effectiveness, putting the ball in good spots and avoiding turnovers. Why is the scheme with Shane Steichen working for Danny Dimes?
I think it's finally just – so when we saw Steichen here the first couple years, his offensive brain clearly has something churning very well, and it was just a matter of finding the guy to run it, it seems. Jones came in from what he has admitted, I think, was a difficult situation in New York, and he just comes in here, and from a TV perspective, this is what I've told people this first part of the season, Jones is kind of boring. There's nothing really all that flashy or overly interesting about him in a good way from a football standpoint. He's so focused. He's just really dialed in to the guys that he's got around him. They've done a really good job protecting him. He doesn't panic. He has been very good at limiting sacks, limiting turnovers, and all of the mistakes that can add up quickly has limited the negative for that offense and has really given them a chance to just be very good in a lot of situations.
You talk about adding some pieces as well for Daniel Jones in that offense. How about Tyler Warren, the Colts' first-round draft pick? He has just fit right in and been an incredible addition to this offense, though.
You know, when you watch Tyler in college, it was clear that he was a tight end that operated at another level, and you always wonder how it's going to translate when these guys get to the NFL. He has come in here and just has been a perfect fit in this scheme, and along with being a great pass catcher, just does all those little things well. When you really dig in and watch this offense operate, he blocks well. He's had a chance to run the ball a couple times. They've made him a very versatile part of this, and because of his size and his speed and his ability, he's a tough guard. There have been, these first 5 games, defenses are having a hard time figuring him out, and Steichen and Jones, that combo, they are just every week trying to find new ways to get him involved. And he's been so very good in a lot of different opportunities so far.
So first up, is Alec Pierce supposed to be back on Sunday for the Colts? And if so, how does that open up some different options offensively for Shane Steichen from a play caller perspective?
Yep, looks like Pierce will be good. He practiced today. He's been going through concussion protocol the last couple of weeks. He did practice today. He got the thumbs up for Sunday. And that gives Jones sort of another long ball threat that they don't have much outside of Pittman. They're starting to develop that a little with A.D. Mitchell if he can get his act together and be consistent with the team. He's still a bit in timeout, if you will, after dropping that ball a couple of weeks ago. Ashton Dulin looked pretty good in that spot last week as well, filling in for the most part for Mitchell. But Pierce comes in as the guy that they can look at on really any down and be a plus 20, plus 30 gainer in the right situation. So they have been able to sort it out without him, but he certainly adds sort of that big play downfield threat and looks like he'll be ready to go on Sunday.
No, I've spent all this time, though, talking about receivers and Daniel Jones and the weapons here, but how about the one that's been like a little bit of a constant here in Indianapolis, and that's running the football with Jonathan Taylor. He is leading the NFL right now in rushing yards. His explosiveness and speed is all there. I also saw he clocked the fastest run by a running back this season back in week 2. So what have you noticed from Taylor to start the year?
It's another opportunity. We forget about that every now and then. This is such a quarterback-driven league, and the passing numbers get so much attention that when a team has a great running back, it often falls into a second or third storyline. But JT has found himself in an offense now with a quarterback that can be efficient and can limit mistakes. So now he's gotten an opportunity to do what he did so well when you go back to his first and second season in the league, MVP type numbers, leading the league in rushing, got near 2,000 yards in a particular season. He's got an offensive line ahead of him that has also been very consistent. They got some guys in place. When Ryan Kelly retired, it was a matter of sort of filling in the blanks on that O-line. Quentin Nelson continues to be an all-pro. Braden Smith has fit in well right there. And then the couple of pieces they put in front of him have just opened things up for Taylor. And JT, man, when he hits it and he goes, he just has that other level, like you mentioned, with the speed, the shiftiness, that he can turn 2 or 3 yards into 8 or 9. And it's left the Colts in a lot of really good situations early in the season here. They're not facing a lot of third and longs. They're not facing a lot of, getting behind the sticks and having to chase some first downs. And it really has added to that efficiency, to your point, with how good Jones has been with the passing game. Taylor's been just as efficient with the running game. And it's really, that wasn't really a surprise. We knew Jonathan had that in him. It was just a matter of being able to find it. And these last couple of seasons when Richardson was struggling at quarterback, none of it just had a chance. It was all just kind of like running in quicksand. And now that Taylor has gotten a chance again to sort of get that open field ahead of him, it has really given the Colts an opportunity to, they like to use the phrase run the damn ball. And that's one of those things that they found on consistently early on in the season here that could pay off for them as they get into this middle third of the schedule.
Brad Brown, 6 News in Indianapolis here on KDOS AM 1060. So on the defensive side of the ball, you also mentioned Lou Anarumo now is the new defensive coordinator. So what immediately has shifted with his philosophy and his touch points on this defense?
It seems just everything seems to move faster. And I know that's probably, it feels like a dumb guy observation. But he just has gotten more out of his guys. And I think more than anything, Lou just brought a fresh perspective in here that things, Gus Bradley, good dude, has had good defenses over his career in the league, but it just needed to be something new. And it was a matter of having the right guys in the right spots. So again, up front with like DeForest Buckner, Grover Stewart, you've got really good guys. Zaire Franklin is an all-pro level linebacker in there. They've added some great pieces in the secondary to go back with that group now that have come in. And then it's Lou seems to have a very good sense of the guys he has and maximizing their talents, where Gus was really trying to kind of square peg round hole some of these guys to make them fit. And I think what they've got right now is adding up to just being more effective against, a variety of just anything different that you're going to see from week to week. Kenny Moore will not play on Sunday. We did find that out today. Kenny's out with an injury, so they'll have to adjust the secondary a little bit right there. But the guys up front have been very good so far, and Zaire continues to be, every bit of a defensive captain in the middle there. Leatu Latu in his second season has really shown up front to be kind of ahead of the curve, I think, of what we even expected out of him as a high draft pick. But he's come in here and just has really fit in very well with this. He seems to be one of those guys that Lou is getting a little bit more out of even this season. So, on any given Sunday, you're going to hear those 3 or 4 names pop up all the time, but then it's another guy here and another guy there that's able to make a play when they need it, takeaways here and there, some effective plays on the special teams that has really frustrated some opponents here and there thus far. The Rams kind of snuck away and got one there a couple weeks ago from them. The defense has just continued to develop against some, again, they played the Raiders last week. That's not, the bar was set kind of low on that one. Vegas has some work to do, right? But this defense has really started to kind of find its way, and I think they look forward to the challenge every week. The Cardinals come in and they present a unique challenge depending on, what their availability with Kyler is. It sounds like is still also up in the air. So it'll be interesting to see if they can continue on the curve that we've seen so far.
Supposedly Kyler is practicing today. Unclear what the official designation is as of yet, whether or not it's questionable or if he was limited or full in participation today. But obviously from a Cardinals perspective, they kind of want to try to maybe push the ball down the field a little bit more and get some of the big playmakers involved with Trey McBride and Marvin Harrison Jr. Shane Steichen, Jonathan Gannon, they work together in Philadelphia. Is it mainly just talking points at this particular juncture, or is there some little insights that they could have in on each other in their schemes?
No, I think it's probably just talking points. I think, these guys, when they move from those, secondary roles into the top spot like this, they get to kind of more wide open their football minds, if you will, right? And I think each guy knows a little about the other. When you move up the ladder like this, it really is just more about talking. It's just us. It's something to talk about here on the radio on Friday, and it's a point that'll come, bullet point on the start of the broadcast on Sunday. But I think when these guys kind of dig into it, they are going far beyond what that was previously. You see that it's really hard in the NFL right anymore to go any game on any Sunday. You can 6 degrees of separation link coaches to one another from somewhere else. So it always kind of comes about like that. And I think that, it's something that you can pick a brain a little bit, but I think ultimately these guys have really set off in their own specific directions to try and turn around a couple of teams here. And I think it makes for a very interesting matchup on Sunday.
Brad, before I let you go here, what's your prediction? Who wins this game on Sunday morning?
I'm going to say Colts by 10-ish, score plus. I think they've been so very good at home. That's the one thing that, we're starting to get a vibe for on this, is that they're kind of getting back to this good vibe at Lucas Oil Stadium, that there's something again about Jones and this offense in particular that are very comfortable on this home field here with this home crowd kind of getting into it. So I think the weather might cooperate on Sunday. We could have roof and or window open at Lucas Oil Stadium here this weekend. So that'll be a TBD to Saturday, probably late afternoon or evening. The Colts usually seem to make that decision. But, that adds a little bit of wrinkle to it with the light. The shadows are very weird in that stadium in the early part of the afternoon here as the sun comes through and hits, various angles in a funny way. But I think that the Colts are just kind of rolling right now, and they've got things in a very good place. And I think they are on their way to, the wild thing about you talked at the start of this about the 4-1 start. They've got a strong potential to get to their bye week at being 8-2 or 9-1. And that's insane to ponder given where we were when we started off with this team back the 1st of August in training camp.
Well, Brad, this has been a fun conversation, and I hope you continue to enjoy this Colts run.
Appreciate it. Y'all have a good season there.
Thank you. Brad Brown, 6 News in Indianapolis here on the lunch break, and appreciate his time. On the other side of the break, though, we'll step aside and we'll come back and we'll break down the MLB playoffs. I know we'll prolong Evan's torture just a little bit longer here. It is the lunch break on KDOS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
The Hits, live at Celebrity Theater. Friday and Saturday, January 9th and 10th. With special guest Max Gomez. Tickets on sale now at celebritytheater.com. A trip through all their best. Don't miss Sticks Live. Produced by Danny Zalisco Presents.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Don't miss out on fun for the entire family at Tomacha Farms Pumpkin Days and Corn Maze, located in the West Valley. Bring the little ones to explore the Great Big Pumpkin Patch, Family Corn Maze, and Petting Zoo, located at 75th Avenue and Bethany Home Road. Fun for all ages.
AC Field of Screams, Arizona's most spine-chilling haunted corn maze, where nightmares become a reality. Do you dare enter? Experience the thrill at acfieldofscreams.com.
It's the grand opening of Fulton Homes' newest master plan community, Acclaim. This beautiful community features open spaces, multiple parks, and a large aquatic center. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at ChoosePrimavera.com.
Right now at Scottsdale Mitsubishi, you can receive 0% APR for 60 full months on all new 2025 Mitsubishi models. You heard right, 0% APR for 60 months.
Think how much you'll save when you pay no interest.
The name, remember? Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Scottsdale Mitsubishi.
Savor the flavor. Del Dorado chicken. Del, yeah.
And that concludes my presentation on what I'd like for dinner.
Wow, that was something.
Thank you.
But honestly, you had me at Del Taco.
Del Taco's new Del Dorado chicken packs layers on layers of flavor with premium ingredients like our new salsa roja, spicy jack cheese, and freshly grilled marinated chicken. Del Dorado chicken, only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah.
Price and participation may vary.
At Winco, we're working to save you money. Every aisle, every department, every day.
9 stores in the Phoenix area, including the new Santan Valley location.
James out west.
Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run, the home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next guy.
Naming a random MLB player that had a really good career.
Yeah, dude, I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
Here on this Friday, October 10th. In the lunch break, Kayla Mortellaro filling in for Chris Schubert, who is off enjoying his honeymoon. Evan behind the glass, making sure that we're up and operational. You can hear us on the KDUS 1060 app or on YouTube, KDUS AM 1060 stream. Thanks to Brad Brown of 6 News in Indianapolis joining us in the previous segment to chat all things Colts and just kind of the turnaround that they've experienced so far this season. MLB playoffs, though, are ongoing, and we had 2 different outcomes yesterday in some game 4s. We had one where the series ended, and we had another where the series is continuing. So the first game on the slate yesterday was the Dodgers, and they ended up winning 2-1 over the Phillies in 11 innings. And, Evan, we had talked about this, that you were pretty happy about the Phillies being able to have Christopher Sanchez get started for the Phillies, and he did his part. 6 1/3, 5 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. But on the flip side of that, Tyler Glasnow was pretty good too for the Dodgers with 6 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts for him. The Phillies ended up drawing first blood in that 7th inning, but the Dodgers were able to answer back in that same inning. But from a pitching standpoint, you got what you wanted from Sanchez.
Yeah, no, you really couldn't ask for much more from Christopher Sanchez. And hate to be nitpicky, but a 2-2 pitch that ends up being a walk, if it's called a strike, you're talking about, now 7 shutout innings instead of just the 7 innings, 1 run. So that run ended up being the one that tied it. This very well could have been a 1-0 Phillies win, but you can't blame any of the Phillies starting pitchers because they did their job. They really did. I mean, they came out, they went in game 1. Christopher Sanchez was great. In game 4, Christopher Sanchez was great. Jesus Luzardo was great in both games. He got you really in a couple innings last night that I didn't think they were going to be able to get through. Aaron Nola got you 2 solid innings. Ranger Suarez was spectacular. The Phillies starting pitching was spectacular through this series. The Dodgers just matched them. And that's it. It's really the end of the story. The Phillies swung themselves out of a lot of innings and kind of lost control of a lot of games, right? We talk about the Bryson Stott bunt and what that meant during the comeback on Monday night. So there was a lot of decisions and little things and situational things that the Dodgers ended up winning on. It comes down to it. Situational baseball, which you don't hear all the time, is really what helped the Dodgers win the series. Phillies had more hits. They had scored more runs. They stole more bases. They struck out less. All of those things are true, right? Like, baseball is a brutal game, but at the end of the day, you switch situationally. You couldn't push a run across in the ninth in game 2. You couldn't come up with the big out in the 11th in game 4. You couldn't score the second run when you had multiple opportunities. That's the storyline for the Phillies. And it's one of those things where you held Ohtani to coming into the night. He was 1 for 14. He went 0 for 4 again last night, struck out twice again. So he was 1 for 18 in the series. Betts had the one hit. Teoscar had one for 5. Freeman 1 for 5. I mean, that top of the lineup didn't do anything for the Dodgers all series long, other than the Teoscar home run in game 1. I mean, the Phillies just couldn't bridge the gap and get over the hump to score enough runs to win this series. And it comes down to the Phillies' top 3, Turner, Schwarber, Harper. Those guys didn't get it done, and really neither did the Dodgers' top 3. But for the Phillies last night, the goal was to get to the Dodgers' bullpen. And that was the goal of the whole series. The Dodgers' weakness lies in their bullpen. And Glasnow just came out and dominated and was extremely efficient, didn't throw a lot of pitches, and it held the Phillies down for so long. They weren't really able to get across to the bullpen when they wanted to. The Dodgers got some great innings out of Roki Sasaki. They've really transitioned him to that closer role quite well, and he was able to give them innings into extra innings. Like, he was fantastic last night. Exactly what they're looking for. So for the Dodgers, you didn't score a lot of runs this series. I don't know if you can sit here as a Dodgers fan and feel great about coming in to play Chicago. If they come back from 2-0, they'll have all the momentum. Or Milwaukee, who has felt like a juggernaut all series and all year. So do the Dodgers feel great going into an NLCS against either of those teams? That's a question probably for another day. But no, I think the Dodgers situationally won this series. It came down to a few moments because these teams were very evenly matched and the starting pitching was so great on both sides. The Dodgers just won those moments.
You know, it's always curious whenever this happens, when a game starts as early as it does at Dodgers Field and you have to deal with the shadows and everything like that, how that impacts as well the pitching as well as the hitting, just because you can't really see the ball as well coming at you. So kind of interesting there as well. But obviously we all know what happened in that extra inning with the critical mistake from Kerkering. Bases loaded, 2 outs, a cracked bat. The ball goes to Kerkering. He bobbles it and almost kind of panics a little bit there because he still had plenty of time to turn and throw to first. And even Real Muto was pointing to him to go to first, but instead he just kind of sidearmed it to home. And Real Muto had no chance of trying to catch that ball, and that's how the Dodgers win in a walk-off error. It's unfortunate that that's how the game ended because it was actually a really good baseball game. Those are the kind of baseball games you love, where you're matching each other pitch per pitch. You're matching each other in all these different strategy battles, plus strategy starting to come in because you're using pitchers in certain situations, thinking that this is gonna work, but now you've used them and you're moving on to more and more innings. So it was setting up to be a really fun battle. So it's unfortunate that that's how it ended up unfolding and ending. And this is the second postseason series, though, to end in a walk-off error, according to the Elias Sports Bureau. Back in 2016, in the ALDS, Texas second baseman Odor had a wild throw on a potential double play ball, and it allowed Josh Donaldson to score, and the Blue Jays won 7-6 in 10 innings. This is also just incredibly consistent, and I guess this is what happens when you have the highest payroll in baseball. Defending champion Dodgers have now reached the LCS series for the 8th time in 13 years.
that's it, right? They have the highest payroll in baseball, but I think even more importantly than that, they find the guys that really other teams aren't willing to go get, right? Everybody knew what Yamamoto was. Everybody knew what Roki Sasaki could be. They went out and got him, right? And those are the big additions on top of the Freddie Freemans of the world, the Mookie Betts of the world. Teoscar Hernandez has been a huge addition for them. I mean, he wasn't priced out of anybody in Major League Baseball. Anybody could have went out and got Teoscar Hernandez. He's been a huge piece for them. Listen, they have guys that they've brought in-house, right? Will Smith has been great. And so, yeah, Glasnow, Snell, some of the guys that they've been able to get, obviously Ohtani, those put them over the hump. But from an in-house perspective, too, they've done a nice job. And they've just been a juggernaut, and they will continue to be because they can kind of throw money at the problem.
That's for sure. So they'll be waiting to find out what happens because the Cubs are able to force a Game 5, taking it to the Brewers. Ian Happ getting the scoring started early with a 3-run home run in the bottom of the first inning. This has happened before, so if you're a Brew Crew fan, you were maybe thinking, no worries, we'll be able to bounce back with a 3-run home run of our own, but that's not what happened. In fact, Matthew Boyd for the Cubs, 4 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Freddie Peralta for the Brewers struggled with his command, only going 4 innings, 3 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and that home run to get the scoring started. And for the Brewers, this is certainly interesting here. They left 6 men on base. Yelich, Perkins, and Churio were all 0-1 with runners in scoring position. They didn't have a lot of hits in the game. They did get a few opportunities to put guys on in a position to score, and they were unable in those situations to move the runners over and obviously get any sort of runs tacked on. But for me, looking at this now, we kind of had talked about it in terms of these series, being able to have your home field advantage. You go and you win your 2 games at home. Now the Cubs answer by winning their 2 games at home. Now the pressure back on the Brewers going back to Milwaukee here for Saturday's game. The pressure here is squarely, I think, on the Brewers after they had that 2-0 lead. So it'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds for Saturday, 5:08 on TBS, with the momentum seemingly being in the direction of the Cubs at this point in time. And the final game to figure out who's going to be joining the Blue Jays in the ALCS is Game 5 tonight for the Tigers and the Mariners. The Tigers have Tarik Skubal. We obviously know how good he is. This stat was just crazy to me. When he does not allow a home run, he is 12-1 on the season. That's pretty dominant for Skubal and just how good and effective he is. Obviously, the the Mariners have some pretty big bats to be able to try to do their best to get to Skubal there. The Mariners are likely going to need, though, that long ball if they do want to score off of Skubal, because he doesn't typically compound errors. So you might need one solo shot here and there to give yourself a chance at winning this game. And that is tonight also, I believe, a 5:08 pitch for the deciding all in the ALCS. On the other side of the break, though, we will get into buy or sell as we wrap up hour number 1 of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters, and we kept signing people to contracts, and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract. Play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I got my first real 6-string.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at LiveNation.com.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
The year-end savings have arrived at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive a 0% APR for 60 full months on all new 2025 Mitsubishi models. You heard right.
0% APR for 60 months on the 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander, Outlander Sport, Outlander PHEV, and Eclipse Cross. Think how much you'll save when you pay no interest. Come see us at the Scottsdale Auto Show at the 101 in Indian School.
The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Go to ScottsdaleMitsubishi.com for full details on approved credit. Another Mark Auto Group dealership.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alicio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Wrapping up hour number one of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Kayla Mortellaro filling in for Chris Schubert as congratulations are out to him as he's married and enjoying his honeymoon. But Evan, it's now time for buy or sell.
Little buy or sell, Kayla. I got two for you here. Finish up hour number one. Looking forward to a weekend full of football. Let's get right into it. The Cardinals will need to score at least 27 points this week if they want to beat the Colts.
Oh, I'm going to buy that. The Colts are the number 2 scoring offense in the NFL. I have not necessarily seen enough defensively from the Cardinals to say that they're going to be able to slow down a offensive attack that is as balanced as the Colts are. I think if the Colts are not getting to 27, it's because there's been some turnovers, which is what you need in order to win a ball game.
The Colts have scored over 27 points in every game except one, where they put 20 up on the Colts, and it would have been 27 had A.D. Mitchell not pulled a Amari DiMercato, or flip it, however you want to say it.
That was the Rams game, right?
That was the Rams game, yeah. Yep. ASU can still beat Utah with Jeff Sims at the helm.
Oh, gosh. Yes, but he's going to have to play perfect. He's going to have no turnovers. Some of the Jeff Sims statistics we'll get into to start hour number 2, as it's likely he's going to be the starting quarterback for ASU football. So we'll dive into that here on the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we could be connected here and there.
Let's watch a movie.
And we have Netflix included to enjoy our favorite shows and movies.
¿Qué tal esta? Buenísima, pero ya la vi.
Now the hard part is getting them to agree on a movie.
Switch today and get the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy AI, all on the best network in the U.S. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1H 2025.
Nine Inch Nails. Live at Desert Diamond Arena, Friday, March 6th. Get tickets now at nin.com. Nine Inch Nails. Live in Glendale. Peel It Back Tour 2026.
Doesn't it make you feel better?
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket.
Ready to rock, guys?
You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
Every day begins with the promise of something new. A new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with the patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
Hey, Benjamin, we've got a surprise for you.
What?
You've got brothers!
Huh?
$50 and $200 bills just like you.
Hey.
So, what?
We just got them for joining America First Credit Union and opening a new checking account.
And you're all going to live together at America First.
What? This is nice.
For a limited time, new members get a $250 cash bonus when they open a checking account with direct deposit or $50 with a youth checking account. So head to AmericaFirst.com and get your money working today. Membership eligibility, terms, and conditions apply. Federally insured by NCUA.
Scottsdale's so nice we're doing it twice. October 15 through 18 at Westworld. The Fall Auction, presented by Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Hundreds of collector cars in the all-new indoor Barrett-Jackson fan zone. Food, drinks, and live entertainment. Get tickets now at barrett-jackson.com.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Kayla Mortellaro filling in for Chris Schubert, who is off enjoying his honeymoon. Evan behind the glass, helping making sure that we are up and operational with our YouTube stream, KDUS AM 1060, as well as all the sound that you can hear on the app with the KDUS 1060 app. So we will make room around 12:15, 12:20 or so for Kyle Soapy, as he is from Pro Football Network, to help us with some NFL prop bets as well as just NFL bets in general. Then around 12:30 today, Evan and I will give our what do we call it? The three plays of the weekend.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a name other than just our picks.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, we do 3 plays. It's a 3-point, a 2-point, and a 1-point play.
All right. Perfect.
Obviously, everybody's willing to play against us. Give us a call.
Absolutely, and that's 480-864-1060, and we'll do that around 12:30 or so for your chance at a Von Hansen's Meats and Spirits gift card. So this morning, I'm getting ready to work on some information for ASU football versus Utah in Salt Lake City for the contest on Saturday night, 7:15 on ESPN. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute. Sam Levitt is doubtful to play? This seemingly came out of nowhere. Now it appears that, according to Kenny Dillingham and things that he has been saying here this morning, that Sam Levitt has been dealing with an undisclosed injury since Baylor. And that it sprouted up again here this week, and he wasn't able to practice and isn't able to go, calling it a mini miracle if he were to be able to play on Saturday. So this is certainly not great news when you think about the challenges that ASU football faces going into Utah, just how difficult it is to play at Rice-Eccles Stadium. Also, you're thinking about the ramifications for ASU. They're inside the top 25. They win this game, then all of a sudden it sets you up for a big matchup against Texas Tech. So obviously one game at a time here, but when you're thinking about what what ASU wants to accomplish. Now, all of a sudden, not having your leading quarterback certainly puts you at a disadvantage here going into this game. Utah just in general has been rather dominant of ASU over the last couple of years, as they had won 4 straight games against the Sun Devils from 2019 to 2023 before ASU won last year in Tempe. Utah has won 3 straight games when the game is played in Salt Lake City, including that one that we're all trying to forget, 55-3 in 2023. And then also talking about the challenge of just being in Utah, the type of play that a Kyle Whittingham team punches you in the mouth with year after year. And at Rice-Eccles Stadium in the Whittingham era, Utah is 93-31. So it's going to be a tough challenge. Now enter in Jeff Sims at the helm here. Sims does have 26 games as a starter, 1 at ASU, 2 at Nebraska, and 23 at Georgia Tech. He has been in college football for 6 years. Sims, though, in his career, 29 interceptions, 31 touchdown passes. He also connects on just 57% of his throws. Somehow, some way, Jeff Sims is going to have to be good, not turn the football over here, allow the offense to basically just roll, just be a manager here, get the ball to Jordan Tyson, and allow the defense to continue to cook in a way that they have been. The defense is allowing just 2.6 yards per carry on opposing offenses so far this season. But, Evan, when you see the news of Jeff Sims, you also had given me some stats about that one game or his career in Nebraska as well. He has to find a way to not do Jeff Sims things.
Yeah. ASU can win this game if their ability to run the ball is as similar or better than it has been over the last few weeks. And if Jeff Sims doesn't turn the ball over, and I know everybody's saying, Evan, that's basic football, run the football, don't turn the ball over. But when you look at Sims, he played 5 games at Nebraska in 2023 after transferring from Georgia Tech to be their starter. In those 5 games, he only threw 47 passes. He only threw for 1 touchdown, and he threw 6 interceptions. So he was very prone to turn the ball over. Last year, he gets the 1 start at Cincinnati. ASU ends up losing that game, and I really didn't think he played all that poorly. I'm not saying he was the best quarterback out on the field. I'm not saying that at all. But he was 13 of 25. He didn't turn the ball over. He picked up 168 yards. The biggest thing I thought in that game was that Kenny and Marcus Arroyo didn't open up the offense. And at some point when they fell down, they still didn't feel like they opened up the offense. So are they going to be able to do that this time around? The other thing with Jeff Sims is he ran the ball 24 times in his one game at Cincinnati. He had over 100 yards on the ground. So he was a big part of over 250 yards of total offense. So they're going to be able to run the ball still. Are they going to have more design runs than they have with Sam? Are they going to use Jeff's legs more? And Sam has been so efficient on the ground. A lot of that has been in scramble drill, though. So I wonder how much more of it is going to be designed runs for Jeff Sims, what they're going to do, if they're going to still take their shots like they do with Sam. What is this offense going to look like? And is it going to be as conservative as it was against Cincinnati? Because if it was, or if it is, it's going to be a problem for them.
Well, I certainly think we are going to see way more designed runs for Sims, just because that is one of the strengths that he has. And if you are going to win this game, then you have to find ways to put him in a position to be successful. When you ask about the conservative nature of the offensive game plan, maybe they look back and they say we were a little bit too conservative in that Cincinnati game. We put ourselves in a position to not really have a chance to win. But then when you just factor in who Jeff Sims has shown to be as a quarterback with those turnover problems, you put yourself in a huge hole, though, if those turnovers turn to points real quick. So it's going to maybe be like a flow of the game. You're going to have to really rely on your defense, I think. But in general, maybe having Jordan Tyson and just being the type of receiver that he is with some crazy athleticism, you throw some things up just to make him have a chance at a ball, have a chance at a play.
Yeah, listen, you have the best receiver in the country, and if not the best, top 3. So they're going to still take their chances to get the ball to their best player. They know it. They do it every week, right? If anything, the criticism is they only go to their best player. They're still going to do that this week. I imagine the ball will still get into Jordan Tyson's hands, and if it doesn't, that's going to be a massive problem. That means that Arizona State isn't moving the football, isn't sticking to their plan. For Jeff, a guy who hasn't played all year long, is probably getting limited reps in practice. He's going to look for their best player. So I imagine Jordan Tyson to still have a huge role. I imagine they'll try to scheme things open, maybe some screen passes, some short completions, some mesh concepts early in the game. Get Jeff Sims warmed up, get him rolling, get some completions out the way. Then maybe you open up the offense. But like I said, designed runs I expect, a lot of short completions, get the ball into Jordan Tyson's hands by any means necessary, and run the football effectively. Those are the big things for ASU's offense. This defense needs to be relevant. Again, Utah's been so good. They're 13th nationally at running the football. So for ASU, continue to stop the run. You only gave up 10 rushing yards 2 weeks ago against TCU. You have a game like that again, you'll win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's going to give? What line unit is going to win that battle when you're talking about how Utah is so good on the ground, and then defensively for the Sun Devils just giving up like a little over or a little under 2.7 yards per carry to opposing offenses this season. I do have some numbers on Jordan Tyson here. When he is facing press coverage, 77 of his 191 receiving snaps have been in press coverage, which is the 7th highest total in the FBS. He has 351 receiving yards out of that press coverage and 4 touchdowns. In man coverage, he has a 92.6 grade, which is the highest among all FBS players, as he caught 8 of his 24 targets for 198 yards and 4 touchdowns. I like the idea of being able to get Sims involved and in a rhythm of finding ways to just get Tyson the ball and let him be a playmaker. But the great thing about having Sims be as mobile as he is and having a wide receiver of the caliber that Jordan Tyson is that Utah can't really just sell out on one thing or another. And so that is going to be very helpful for the Sun Devils offensively in trying to be as effective as they want to be. The news, though, about ASU not having or being very doubtful to have Sam Leavitt did kind of change my tune on who I thought was going to win the game. And to me, it all comes down to whether or not Jeff Sims can just be a manager. Don't try to be the hero in Saturday's contest. Don't turn the ball over. I think then at that point, ASU can get the win. But if they have a couple of key turnovers, I think Utah does win this game. Prior to that, I kind of felt much better about ASU being able to go into Utah and make their statement, make their staple on this season and kind of get things rolling in a direction that we felt good about, because it felt like the offense was starting to find some compatibility, starting to find what we were expecting to see maybe from week 1, week 2, that now we were starting to see. And now we're going to have a completely different quarterback. So the defense is really going to have to step up for ASU, and Sims is going to just have to not turn the football over. There are some other college football games this week with some pretty big implications. You do have number 7 Indiana at number 3 Oregon. That's a 12:30 contest on CBS. People are already spending so much time talking about the travel that the Big Ten has to do now because of what happened last week with Penn State losing to UCLA, going back and forth. How is that impacting the players, and are they ready to play? So now this time Indiana traveling west. How's that going to happen? I do think Indiana is a good football team, but Oregon just has some incredible wide receivers that might, at the end of the day, just be a little bit too much for Indiana's corners to handle. Number 8, Alabama. At number 14, Missouri. That's a 9 a.m. game on ABC. Alabama's defense is ranked 63rd in the country in success rate against the run and 80th in EPA per rush. Meanwhile, Missouri is ranked 4th nationally in rushing success rate on offense, 3rd in EPA per rush, and 6th in rushing explosive rate. So the thing that Missouri does really well is on offense is the thing that Alabama's defense doesn't do so hot. So that's going to be a very interesting contest here, potentially a very high-scoring game in that one. Number 6, Oklahoma versus number 19, Texas in Dallas, 12:30 on ABC, the Red River Showdown. I think basically everyone's tuning in for this one to see how Arch Manning and the Texas offense is going to look. And unfortunately, that's just kind of how everyone's going to be paying attention to Texas football here and Arch and whether or not he's going to get back on track. Number 1, Ohio State. At number 17, Illinois. That's a 9 a.m. contest on Fox. After Indiana really took it to Illinois, kudos to them for bouncing back and still being relevant, still being in the top 25. But they have another ginormous test against Ohio State. Certainly with the way that quarterback Julian Sayin has been slinging it around, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, that whole offensive cavalry, that should be an interesting one to see if Illinois can keep pace with the Buckeyes. We will step aside here on the lunch break, and on the other side of the break, we'll be joined by Kyle Soapy, Pro Football Network, to chat some NFL bets, NFL prop bets, and see what we can find for some winners for us this weekend. It is the lunch break here on KDOS AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Ben DiNucci, NFL quarterback. I'm still going to introduce you as NFL quarterback. Being on the practice squad, what's the difference in how you're treated, lifestyle?
Honestly, nothing's different. I mean, there's 53 guys on the active roster and there's 16 on the practice squad. And the reality of the NFL is that guys are going to get hurt. There's a reason that these teams put a lot of effort into the practice squad, just like they do the active roster. It's really all the same. You're still traveling with the team. The pay cut's a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's still great.
Live Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Lost your health insurance? There are options to help you stay covered. Choices include Medicaid, individual and families, Medicare, and group plans. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona is a local nonprofit health insurance company that can help you understand your options, no matter who you choose. Stay covered, Arizona. We've got your back. Learn more at azblue.com/options or call 1-877-475-8454. This message is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Arizona.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting the Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. November 30th, 2 shows, 3 and 7:30 p.m. PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, presented by 100.7 KSLX.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
When it comes to your electric bill, saving energy means saving money. That's why SRP offers many ways to help you cut costs and boost comfort. From rebates and discounts that can save you thousands of dollars, to expert insights that can help make your home more energy efficient. SRP has tools and programs that give you many ways to save. Explore your options today at srp.net/savings. That's srp.net/savings.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Desperation draft picks rarely pan out in the NFL. Owners get impatient, coaches get nervous, and when panic meets pressure, bad things follow. Now look at what the Giants did in the offseason. They drafted quarterback Jackson Dart, the Ole Miss transfer, labeled a system quarterback by some questionable decision-making, and Cam Scatterbo, the bruising Arizona back, may be labeled too slow and too limited at the pro level. But football is a funny way of humbling the critics. On Thursday night, the so-called two reaches helped the Giants pull off a big upset over the defending champion Eagles. Dart was poised, decisive, elusive, and Scatterbo was relentless, breaking tackles, scoring 3 touchdowns. Both still have room to grow, but together they've done something pretty important, like winning more than just a football game. They've reignited hope in New York, and maybe for the coach and GM, they bought more time to keep this building in the Big Apple. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Mako's running a paint sale right now, starting at just $499. How about that? Now, if you've been thinking about maybe doing something with your car, don't pass up this opportunity, okay? There's dents, dings, chip paint. Mako's seen it all. But for this price, take advantage of that, and you could give your ride a fresh look. Free estimate. They'll work with your budget. They'll get the job done fast. No pressure, no judgment, a fresh start, and you're going to have a national warranty to accompany it. And they're community-based, great people to work with, somebody you can trust to make your car look nice. A fresh ride. They've been doing it for over 50 years, and it's easier than ever for you to take advantage of this. Your car could use a little love. Now's the time. But don't wait. These paint sales will not last long. Visit Mako, that's MAACO.com, and find the nearest location. Schedule that free estimate. And with the paint sale starting at just $499, your car is going to look awesome. Better get Mako.
KDUS AM 1060 is your home for the Jim Rome Show.
Even if Troy Aikman pretty much said the NFL product sucked last night, he's not wrong. I thought this was supposed to be a brand new Jets. They're more dysfunctional and more undisciplined than ever. You know what would actually be brand new for the Jets? A new head coach starting 0-5. That has never happened, but it looks like there's a very good chance it's about to happen.
The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back to the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060, as well as with the KDUS 1060 app and on the YouTube stream, KDUS AM 1060. We're popping on out to the hotline, joined by Kyle Sobey, Pro Football Network, to have an NFL prop bets conversation. Kyle, always good to catch up with you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy to be back. I mean, I don't know where the season's going. We're almost at Halloween already. We're almost at the midway point of this thing.
I know. How does this keep happening year after year? We have to wait forever, and then it's finally here and blink and we miss it.
I hate how that happens.
I'm curious, though, what your philosophy is in general when you look at player props on games overseas, because we currently have this Broncos-Jets game in London. The Jets have just been absolutely terrible on both sides of the ball, especially their defense. Bo Nix had 326 yards passing 2 weeks ago. Last week, 242. His prop number sitting at 226.5. So is there any interest in getting the morning started with anything in this game?
Come on now. Is there any interest in getting the morning started? That's why they invented time zones, so we can get games like this so that we can bet it before everybody else is having their coffee. I don't mind this game. Bo Nix, to me, a little up and down for my liking. Cortland Sutton's tough in that offense, but other than that, I don't really trust too many of the pass catchers. That said, this Jets defense has been terrible. This is the only team in the league to allow 27 points or more in all 5 weeks. So I don't have a problem with pro Bo Nix angles here, but I'm not overextending for him because if this is a one-sided game, he's not throwing much in the fourth quarter.
Very true. The Seahawks, they're on the road in Jacksonville. The Jags defense has been really, really good. They are coming off of this huge win, though, on Monday night. Seattle going cross-country after a disappointing loss for themselves. I'm interested in this one, teasing the Hawks up to 7.5. And then on a prop side, Sam Darnold's number sitting at 238.5 passing yards. He's really pushing the ball down the field this season. So do you like going in a passing direction or more of the ground game for the Seahawks?
I like the Seattle angle that you were talking about. Teasing them up feels good to me. I think they're the better team here. I love what I saw from Trevor Lawrence last week, and to get the upset win, all that stuff is great. And they're off to a good start, don't get me wrong. But I can't quite get there on Jacksonville being a legit team. As far as props go, you're talking Sam Darnold, and I think he's playing well above what his numbers say. So I don't have a problem going pro Sam Darnold, but his pass catchers, Cooper Kupp, I just don't see it. JSN is the straw that stirs that drink these days. Cooper Kupp, his longest reception right now, the prop is 18.5 yards. I don't see him getting there. There might be a little bit of volume, but to get him a 19, 20-yard catch, I just don't see it. Jacksonville, the 11th best team after the catch, and Kupp's not running downfield. So if you're not running downfield, you're not breaking tackles, it makes it awfully hard to have a long catch.
The Patriots are at the Saints here. Stephon Diggs had that huge game against the Bills. So how do we identify whether or not Stephon Diggs is going to be a bigger factor in this offense, or was that just a one-off playing his former team?
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row now, right? With Diggs going over 100 yards in both. We're seeing him back from the ACL. I think it's part of the recovery period. I don't think he's going to be the most consistent option. And to be honest, I'm not sure he has to be. Drake May running the ball well. They've got two backs behind him as long as they're not fumbling. So I'm not too in on Diggs sustaining this, but you're playing New Orleans, one of the worst teams in the league. So you could sell me on anything New England. I'm not targeting Diggs. Instead, I'm going with a same-game parlay in this one. I've got New England to win the first half and the game. That's going off at about even money. You're talking about the fourth best team in terms of point differential in the first half, going against the fourth worst. If New England's got a halftime lead, I don't see him giving this thing back to Spencer Rattler. So give me that same-game parlay at even money over there in New Orleans.
Kyle Soapy from Pro Football Network here on KDUS AM 1060. So, goodness gracious, I don't know what to do here with the Cardinals and Marvin Harrison Jr. And are they going to try to get him more involved? His number's sitting at 49.5 yards. I'd have to think that after what we saw last Sunday, that there is going to be a concerted effort either for him or for Trey McBride, right?
Yeah, I like the volume. It's very concentrated there in Arizona. We just got to make sure your guy Kyler Murray plays, right? I mean, there's some injury cropping up there. I do think Indy's a little smokes and mirrory, if that's a word, but it does go through those two guys. I like the Cardinals to cover the 7.5 in this game. I'm not too sold on how they get there with the running game that's kind of being patchwork together. As long as you cross the end zone with the ball in your hands, that would be a good place to start. But I do think the Cardinals keep this thing close enough to cover the number.
Jamar Chase, he has had more tackles than some big names like Joey Bosa, Chris Jones, etc. That's a crazy stat. Now you have Joe Flacco slinging him the football here. Do we look at finally playing Jamar Chase again?
I think you do, but not this week. Green Bay coming off a bye. That's an awfully tough spot. You've got Micah Parsons coming down the chute here. I don't know how much time Joe Flacco is going to have the ball. I understand that he beat him earlier with the Browns here, but this is a different team, and I do think the pro Chase angle long-term probably pays off, but I'm not sure this is the week to do it.
When you talk about the Bengals here, they are getting 14.5 points. This still is the National Football League. I know they haven't been good, but 14.5 points is a lot of points. Are you willing to take the Bengals and the points?
I'm not going to touch this game, which is a sign of respect to the Bengals, because I don't think they have much going for him, and I'm not sure Joe Flacco really corrects that in the short term. I mean, he got traded, 3 days ago? He's going to be walking in on short rest against a team that I think has Super Bowl aspirations coming off a bye. So, I mean, if you told me this game was 28-16 and they cover kind of, sort of, in the least convincing way possible, I'd believe you, but it's not getting my hard-earned dollar.
Lions are at the Chiefs. I like the Lions in another one of my teaser legs here, but what about them just winning this game outright at plus money?
I don't mind the angle. They've been awfully good in spots like this. Jared Goff in games where the total's over 50 on the road, he's been great. The Lions are undefeated with him in such spots against the spread, and maybe they get there here, but there's too many injuries on the defensive end for me to feel great about it right now. Xavier Worthy off the injury report for the Chiefs. So it sounds like they're all systems go, outside of Rashee Rice, who still has the game suspension here. But I think you see a lot of the ground game in this. You've got two bottom 5 run defenses before contact. So if you see Jahmyr Gibbs get going, maybe a touchdown or two for David Montgomery. I think that's your path to victory. I think this is a good one, and I'm glad it's on Sunday night.
Staying with this game, though, you talked about the Lions and the secondary. Terrion Arnold also now out, too. So do you go in the direction of Worthy, or would you go in the direction of maybe some longest reception for Tyquan Thornton?
I love that last angle. I don't mind Worthy, and the ankle injury scares me a little bit. He's still got the shoulder from earlier in the year. But you mentioned it. Tyquan Thornton has one job and one job only on this offense, and it's to stretch the field. And we might see all that change when Rashee Rice comes back and the offense kind of shifts a different direction. But until then, and he's on suspension for another week, until then, he's just running bursts up and down the field, and he's as good as anybody. And Mahomes definitely has confidence in him. So I love the longest reception bet on Thornton this week, last week, next week, until we see otherwise.
Kyle Sopi, Pro Football Network here on KDUS AM 1060. So the Bills are at the Falcons. Dalton Kincaid has been the leading receiver for the Bills this season. He's been over 36.5 4 of the last 5 weeks so far. Does he do it again?
He's going over that number, but not by a heck of a lot here. He's got 3 games under 50 yards. So you're kind of threading a thin needle here. He hasn't seen more than 6 targets in a game. So you're really banking on efficiency, which I don't mind because you've got Josh Allen pulling the strings. And whenever that's the case, good things generally happen. But you've got an Atlanta team, been playing good defense at home, off a bye. I'm not really going to the Kincaid markets. If I do, I think it would be in the touchdown streets. He's got 3 of them in 5 weeks here on only 20 receptions, so they're kind of looking that way. But there's a handful of teams like this. The Bills and Packers come to mind, where I think they're going to move the ball through the air. I just don't know how they do it or who they do it to.
On the flip side of this here with the Falcons, Bijan Robinson obviously is a staple here in what they're trying to do offensively. The Bills, though, have some holes on the defensive side of the ball. So do we look at either going Bijan Robinson or do we go wide receiver-wise, Drake London, something like that?
Yeah, I like the Bijan angle. I'm actually going the other way because you mentioned it. Buffalo's all banged up all over the place. So they're going to do one thing, and that's load up to take the one thing Atlanta has away from them. So if they're doing that, I think Michael Penix is live to go over his 222.5 passing yards here. We saw Buffalo give up 9.1 yards per attempt to Drake May last week, and Drake May is great. Don't get me wrong. He's got less talent around him than Michael Penix does. Penix throwing 39 passes per game in his losses this year. I think we both expect the Bills to control this game. Positive game script. Michael Penix throws upwards of 40 times. I don't think he has a problem clearing 225.
The Browns are plus 5.5 against the Steelers. The Steelers are coming off of a bye, playing at home, while the Browns are coming back from London. Dylan Gabriel looked better. He moved the offense there for what the Browns were trying to do. They do have a good defense. It is a divisional game. Is plus 5.5 worth a play?
I think it is, and I didn't think you were going to come into this week having me spend money on the Browns coming back from overseas against the team off a bye, but here we are, 5.5 points in division. Like you said, division underdogs of at least 4 points in the first half of seasons. They've covered 63% of the time. I'm willing to step in front of that. I think this is just going to be a low-scoring game. If this is a race to 20 and you're giving me 5.5 points, like the math just says, you get 2 touchdowns, you might cover this number by accident. Aaron Rodgers always plays at a slow pace, so give me something like 20-17 in either direction, and that gets us home.
The Bucs have been winning these close games here. It's a field goal game against the 49ers here. Is it a stay away for you, or are you going to keep riding with the Bucs there?
I was on the Bucs until you hear about the Chris Godwin re-injury. So now they're down him. They're down Mike Evans. Bucky Irving's been ruled out. San Fran may or may not be missing just as many skill players. So I'm really concerned about taking this game outright. But on the props market, it looks like Mac Jones is going to be back in for Brock Purdy. They've got his longest completion listed at 33.5 yards. We're talking no Ricky Pearsall. You're talking probably no Juwan Jennings against a defense here in Tampa Bay that encourages you to check down the ball. I understand Christian McCaffrey could get you, and stepping in front of that train doesn't feel great, but I'm going under longest completion for Mac Jones, 33.5 yards.
All right, Kyle, before I let you go here, what is your favorite play of the weekend?
My favorite play is going to be Calvin Ridley going over 50 yards. You get a little plus money there. He's got the Raiders. I don't think I have to sell you on the Raiders being a positive matchup. Calvin Ridley coming off a week in which he was second in the entire NFL in air yards. Cam Ward, he's a work in progress. I'm not going to beat around the bush there, but Tennessee going to be competitive in this game. Vegas has holes all over the place, including down the field. Calvin Ridley could get there on one catch. I'm going to give him 3 or 4, and that gets us over 50 with relative ease.
Kyle, it's always fun to catch up with you, and I look forward to doing it with you next Friday as well.
Can't wait.
Perfect. He's Kyle Soapy, Pro Football Network, with some plays for us for the weekend. Speaking of plays, we have more of them. Evan and I break down our top 3 of the weekend, and you, of course, can get involved too. Do we typically take the call now and then get them ready for the next segment?
Yep, we'll have them call us right now. You get in 480-864-1060. We'll get you on. You'll start us off your 3-point, 2-point, 1-point play spreads and totals in the National Football League.
Perfect. Once again, that's 480-864-1060. It is the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein. If you were on my football team and you don't carry the football through the goal line, I want you to keep running into the locker room. Take off your helmet because you're never wearing it on my football team again. The only thing I liked was at least a response from head coach Jonathan Gannon to either let him know or encourage him with fire, fury, and vengeance in his face.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
One last match, one unforgettable night. The regular season finale is here as Phoenix Rising hosts San Antonio FC on Saturday, October 18th at 7 p.m. It's Fan Appreciation Night with special drink and food deals and end-of-season merchandise sales all night long. Celebrate the season, cheer on the squad, and send Rising into the playoffs in style. Tickets start at just $15. Log yours in now at phxrisingfc.com. Final match, full stadium. Let's rise together.
We finally switched to T-Mobile because with them, we can be connected here and there.
¡Listos todos! Estas son las mañanitas.
Now we just need to harmonize.
Switch today. Get 4 Samsung Galaxy S25 phones with Galaxy AI. Plus, get 4 lines for just $25 per line. Visit a store, T-Mobile.com, or call 1-800-T-Mobile. 1-800-T-Mobile. For well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Minimum 4 lines on plan. Contact us if canceling lines. Plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Hello, everybody. Eric Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing. When it comes to your comfort, results matter. That's why Precision has been voted the #1 ranked AC company in the Valley for over a decade, delivering the best installation in the state. And now's the perfect time to upgrade. Get $2,500 off a new AC unit, plus receive the Valley's only 10-year workmanship warranty. Protect your home, lower your stress, stay comfortable all year long. Make the Precision decision today. Call us at 602-FIX-MY-AC.
Prepare for the Maximum Fun Tour. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, Saturday, October 25th. Special guests, The Wonder Years and Dinosaur Pileup. Tickets from $30. On sale now at livenation.com. A day to remember. Yellow Card, part of the American First Credit Union Concert Series.
Make this Halloween electrifying by winning a brand new VW all-electric van.
The place to come when you wanna have too much fun.
Yes, we're giving away a VW electric van and a whole lot of cash Halloween. Only at Twin Arrows Navajo Casino Resort. Now that's too much fun.
Twin Arrows.
Make your first cool cruise to Twin Arrows for a spooktacular evening with psychic medium Matt Frazier. He'll calm your fears of the unknown. November 23rd. Book a room. We've got spooktacular $99 anytime rates that make it way too easy for you to stay and play.
Place to come when you wanna have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Twin Arrows.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Welcome back to the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Follow along with the KDUS 1060 app as well as on the YouTube channel, KDUS AM 1060. All right, so it's the time of the program, and on Fridays to make some picks. And Evan and I are going to make the picks, and I guess if the caller, Chris, who is on the line, beats us, then he's in line for a Von Hansen's Meats and Spirits, a gift card. Of course, Von Hansen's Meats and Spirits, located at Alma School, just between Elliott and Warner in Chandler. And you can always visit them online at vonhansensmeats.net. All right, so Evan, does Chris go first, and does he go through all of
Typically,
his picks?
he will go first, and he'll give us all his picks right now.
All right, Chris, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you. How are you?
Doing awesome. It's a Friday on a football season. It can't get much better, right?
Right. Love it.
All right.
Exactly.
So
Hey,
the third. So what's your best play? What's your best play? And we'll go from there.
can I say one quick clarifying question? Can I pick a Monday night game?
Yes, you can pick a Monday night game. Obviously, the only game you cannot pick, Chris, is the Thursday night game. But you can take a Monday night game.
Okay, perfect. So my 3-point pick is going to be the Lions on Sunday night against the Chiefs. I got it at 2.5. What do you guys have?
We have it at plus 2.5. You're good there.
Okay, perfect. My 2-point play, this is where I'm going to go Monday night. I love the Bills over the Falcons. I got it at 4.5.
I have Buffalo minus 4.5 on the road in Atlanta.
Okay. And ready for my 1-point pick? This one's going to stretch, but I'm going the Bengals if I can get the 14.5 for my 1-point play.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. Listen, you feel like some great picks there. You're getting in. Get yourself a Von Hansen's gift card. I don't want to give anything away. I love your 1-point play, Chris.
Okay, awesome. Love it. Let's go.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate the call. So we're going Lions plus 2.5 for Chris, Bills minus 4.5, and Bengals plus 14.5. There was a conversation there in the previous segment about Bengals plus 14.5. I mean, goodness gracious, 14.5 points in the NFL. That is a lot of points.
You and I talked about it before. Anything could happen at 14.5. I mean, Green Bay could be up 14 in the fourth quarter and just not try and score.
Exactly.
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. Those backdoor covers still count.
It still count.
They are covers. All right. I'll get started with 3, then you can go 3, and we'll just go back and forth. So my 3-point play is actually going to be a teaser. The Seahawks up to 7.5 and the Lions up to 8.5. I think this is actually a situation where both teams could win outright. The Lions, though, having some injuries in the secondary do concern me a bit, and it's kind of, I wouldn't say desperation mode yet for the Chiefs, but we're kind of getting there for Kansas City, and you had Patrick Mahomes already coming out this week saying we've lost too many games, so there's going to be a lot of emphasis there on the Chiefs, and that'll be a really fun Sunday night contest, but I don't think the Chiefs can pull away in any shape or form. So I think them up to 8.5, teasing it with the Seahawks plus 7.5. The Sam Darnold has been very good for the Seahawks. They're finding ways to get their receivers involved. Jackson Smith-Njigba has been really good, and I know the Jaguars' defense has been solid, but you never know what can happen off of such an emotional win like that on Monday night. This kind of is an emotional play, if you will, and I could see this also being a close contest. So that's going to be my first play, is that teaser there.
My 3-point play on the week is what I think is maybe the game of everything prior to Sunday Night Football, which is Tampa Bay hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Tampa Bay has some injuries. We heard people talk about it. They may not have Chris Godwin again, but they find ways to win football games. And yes, maybe it's been a little bit smoke and mirrors. Everybody has said that this week. But you know what's been more smoke and mirrors is the San Francisco 49ers. They're 4-1. They have a win when Sam Darnold fumbled on the goal line. They have a win where the Cardinals dropped a pass, and a win where, very impressive, but they beat the Rams who gave it to them and played really poor football. So I'm going to take the Bucs -3 at home against San Francisco 49ers as my 3-point play.
All right, my 2-point play, is going to be over 44.5 in the Rams and the Ravens game. So the Ravens have given up 44 points to the Texans last week. They gave up 37 points the week before to the Chiefs, 38 points to the Lions, 17 points to the Browns, and 41 points to the Bills in week 1. So this 44.5 could almost be hit the over just by the opponent in this particular contest here for the Rams, which is a very good offense. They're an explosive offense as well. It does look like Lamar Jackson is not going to play, so you still have Cooper Rush. You still have all of the injuries on the Ravens side of the ball, so I'm going over 44.5.
That does feel like a small over, given how bad the Ravens defense has been. And listen, we know that no Lamar Jackson again this week. But how many points do you actually need them to score? Is it 10?
Just give me 10 points.
Just give you 10 points
Cooper
from
Rush,
Baltimore.
give me 10 points.
That's going to be the question. My 2-point play, unfortunately, was Eagles minus 7.5 last night. So I don't have a 2-point play. I've already lost it. So it is back to you for the 1-point play.
Oh, that's right. All right. So I guess I am going completely up against Chris in his 2-point play on this one because I'm on the other side. I'm on Falcons plus 4.5 over the Bills. The Falcons are coming off of a bye. They're at home. The Bills have been giving up a lot of points. Their defense is just really struggling, in my opinion, here. So I could see that it could be a 3-point game in this particular way, either way, but that would be the Falcons go ahead and cover that.
Yeah, the Falcons have been an odd team, right? They have some big wins. They played the Tampa really tough in week 1. And then you lose 30-0 to Carolina. What are they? They've already had their bye. They have 2 weeks to prepare for Buffalo. The one thing about the Bills, they're coming off a loss. Are they going to be able to come out and make the statement they want to against Atlanta? That's going to be the question in that game. But 4.5 is an interesting spread in that game. I could see picking either way. I'll tell you this. My 1-point play, same day, different game. The second Monday night game, Chicago at Washington. Washington had a big win last week. I just like the Bears in this one. Also coming off bye, I like the Bears plus the points. 4.5 is the spread I got. I just think that in an offense that Ben Johnson has started to get this thing rolling. Caleb has been better. They came off the bye. They had 2 weeks to prepare. This feels like a Bears game to win, a revenge game for last year's Hail Mary. So they're coming out with a little bit of vengeance.
So I don't disagree with your thought process here. I think for me looking at this, I'm still stumped and perplexed on both of these teams because you've had the Commanders without Jaden, I should say, Jaden in the offense for that bit of time, but then he looked much better in that Commanders win over the Chargers. So which sort of offense are we going to see here? Are the Bears going to be able to keep pace, put up the points? I do agree with you that they looked much better in that game before they went on their bye. So for me, it's just a perplexing one. I want to see how it plays out, and then I can kind of figure out maybe what I think about both of these teams moving forward. So it's a no play for me, but I fully understand your logic and your thought process behind it.
It's going to be a big one on Monday night. Actually, both games on Monday night are going to be interesting. I got to ask, are you a fan of the double Monday? I know it's pretty controversial. A few weeks back, they did the staggered 3 hours apart. That was awesome. As a couple West Coast people, the 3-hour difference there and a game starting at 7, loved it. I hate the 4 o'clock, 5:15 start.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I do have an opportunity to have both TVs up and going, so I can see both of them, and I don't have to flip back and forth, but I just don't like it. I'm just not a fan. Monday night, I'm so used to it just being the standalone Monday night game. Give me this one game, and if we are going to have multiple games, then I would prefer the 4 o'clock start and the 7:15 start. I'm not a fan of it.
I don't like it.
Yep, I'm not a fan. On the other side of the break, though, we will come back. We'll provide our Cardinals predictions and any other leftovers that we have here in the lunch break right here on KDOS AM 1060.
James out west.
Mike Trout became the 59th player to hit his 400th home run. The home run record holder for the Angels. I was going to quiz you. Who do you think the number 2 is on the list for all-time home runs for the Anaheim Angels?
I would assume it's Shohei Ohtani.
Nope, Tim Salmon.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
$299 for Tim Salmon. Mike Trout got 101 more than the next
about
guy.
Naming a random MLB player that had a really good career.
Yeah,
That's
dude,
wild.
I loved watching Tim Salmon, bro. I'm about to
299 home runs.
cut together some Tim Salmon highlights.
Every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire America's largest injury law firm for your case? There's lots of reasons. Just like there's a reason millions of people called us last year in their time of need. When it comes to fighting for justice and compensation, millions of people across the country trust us to go to battle for them. We became the largest injury law firm in the world for a reason. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
To everyone counting down the days until pumpkin season, your wait is finally over.
The Salted Caramel Pumpkin Concrete Mixer and Pumpkin Spice Shake are back at Culver's for a limited time. And because nothing beats the real thing, every scoop of fresh frozen custard is made with farm fresh dairy, and every bite is filled with real pumpkin puree. So come visit us at Culver's, or order ahead in the app or online, and fall in love with these pumpkin desserts all over again.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious. To everyone who believes in magic, let our team member Teppy tell you how we do it at Culver's.
We're not talking about card tricks or disappearing acts. Wow. This is the kind of magic that transforms real farm fresh dairy into world-class Wisconsin cheese. We're talking about Midwest magic. It's about handcrafting every meal with love, because at Culver's, we want every bite to be turned into a smile. Order ahead in the app or online and come taste the magic for yourself.
From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No, Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters, and we kept signing people to contracts, and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract, play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
It's the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. As always, follow along with the KDUS 1060 app or on the YouTube channel, KDUS AM 1060. All right, so Evan just informed me in break. We also have Chris Schubert's picks that we need to divulge. So, Evan, take it away for Chris's 3-point, 2-point, and 1-point plays.
I mean, this guy, he doesn't sleep. On his honeymoon, he's given us his plays. Chris, he's going to start with his 1-point play. He's going to take Seattle plus the points, the Seahawks plus 1.5 at Jacksonville in the early window on Sunday morning. His 2-point play, he's going to take the New England Patriots. They travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints in that same window. Patriots minus 3.5. And his 3-point play, in that same window, he's going to take Denver. Same window. No. We're in London. Or I don't know where the game is, but it's overseas because I see the 6:30 a.m. time. Denver minus 7.5 overseas. They play the Jets. So to recap, his 3-point play is the Broncos minus 7.5, the Patriots minus 3.5, Seattle plus 1.5 on the road in Jacksonville.
All right. Yeah. So I guess he has plans in the afternoon then.
Yeah, seriously. I guess afternoon plans. He wants to get them all out of the way. He'll be done his slate by 1 o'clock.
All right. Well, thanks to Chris for taking time out of his honeymoon to send in his picks for us there. So we'll have some fun and recapping everything when we come back on Monday as well. All right. So for the Cardinals, though, they are a 10 a.m. start in Indianapolis against the Colts. Last I saw, Kyler Murray was practicing today. Unclear if it was a full or limited designation. We'll see what the full game status designation is as well later on today. But when it comes to this particular contest, I think this is such a make or break game for the Cardinals. What kind of team are you going to be after such a demoralizing and devastating loss last Sunday to the Titans? Are you going to be a team that comes out, tries to punch this Colts 4-1 team in the mouth, or is the season going to be slipping away pretty quickly here? So I do think, though, with the injury to Kenny Moore being out, that maybe there's some possibility if we are going to see some differences in the offensive game planning to try to push the ball down the field, get Marvin Harrison Jr. involved, get Trey McBride involved. If the offensive line for the Cardinals can hold up against the defensive pressure there and the defensive front for the Colts, I think the thing, though, comes down to whether or not you can keep pace with the Colts and their particular offense right now, because they are just playing with so much balance and so much efficiency and scoring points like crazy. I do think in the end, though, it is going to be a little bit too much, and the Colts are going to win 27-23.
This is an interesting game for the Cardinals. I think you said it best. You've now lost 3 in a row, all in heartbreaking fashion, and you have to go play a really hot Colts team to start the year. Nobody expected the Colts to be 4-1. They're 3-0 at home. Nobody thought they would be this team. Everybody kind of picked the Cardinals early in the season in this game. You're off to a shaky start. You're 2-3. You have to get the train back on the tracks here. It doesn't necessarily mean a win, but you have to look good against the Colts, and you just can't get punched in the mouth again. You had the lead against Tennessee. You blew it late. You got crushed by Seattle in the first half and started to come back. And so for the Cardinals, start fast, score early, and continue to keep your foot on the pedal. This is a game that is going to feels like it could make or break their season. How are you able to respond to the adversity that is the last 3 games? And for the Colts, can they keep that train moving? They've been so good offensively, so efficient. Are they going to be able to do it against this Cardinals defense that has not been the problem for this team? So is it going to be Daniel Jones one more time, move this Colts team to 5-1? Is it going to be Kyler Murray? Is it going to be Jacoby Brissett? I'm with you. I think that it's just going to be too much for the Cardinals. I think the Colts have been just too efficient. To me, they've been probably the most well-rounded team across the league through the first 5 weeks, and I think it's going to be Colts again in this one, moving to 5-1. I'm going to take it a little bit larger. Colts 34, Cardinals 20.
All right. Ooh, that's a big victory then, 34-20. Yeah, I just think at the end of the day, it isn't Daniel Jones is not asked to put everything on his arm when you have Jonathan Taylor as the running back to kind of set the stage and set everything for what this Colts offense wants to do. All right, so we're both going with the Colts. I hope we're both wrong. I hope we can come back on Monday and say, wow, boy, we got that one wrong. The Cardinals were just rolling over the Colts. That would be great. But when it comes to the rest of everything that's happening here, I do have one note, and before I toss it back to you, Evan, for leftovers, but the Phoenix Mercury are looking to try to avoid being swept tonight, and they're going to have to do it without Satu Sabli, who is a perennial 20, 25-point scorer a night for you. She's been ruled out with a concussion, so it's going to be a tough road ahead here. Tip-off tonight at 5 p.m. on ESPN.
Mercury need to stay alive, need to get one at a time, right? One at a time. It feels impossible sometimes down 3-0, but you do not want to get swept.
I just don't want the sweep.
That's what you're trying to avoid, because then the conversation becomes like, did they even deserve to be there? And you never want that. You always want to at least catch a game or two.
Exactly. And they were in the first game. I mean, it took them to overtime, in it for that third game as well. But, oh, man. All right. So let's go Merc tonight then to avoid the sweep tonight. That'll that'll do it for this Friday, October 10th edition of the Lunch Break here on KDOS AM 1060. Everyone have yourselves a fantastic weekend. We'll see how our plays go. I'm back with you on Monday. Evan behind the glass as well. Have a great weekend. Talk to you then.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.